Hey everybody, hope you're doing well and I hope you can hear me okay. I just am using the microphone on my phone, so that's the way it's usually been, and I do have a river behind me that is flowing ever so peacefully up here in the mountaintops. So I've been just feeling the outdoor style of video. It kind of makes me just I guess more excited to do these videos in the outdoors. But so long story short, if you're wondering about my channel, I just like to share things that are on my heart, things that I'm studying. And for the last few weeks, I've been studying apologetics. So, I mean, I've written a book on apologetics. I don't want to plug my book too hard in this, but this was just a couple years after I became a believer, actually, and I'm still, I revisit the book sometimes, and still am happy with the content in it. So if you get an opportunity to check it out, feel free. It's called The Best Guess. So you can just Google The Best Guess and with my name and find that and check it out. But so today I'm still studying apologetics. I'm getting ready for a lesson to prepare with some folks that I teach weekly, but the Lord hasn't provided me the opportunity to share with them yet this message. So I think He just wants me to continue focusing on evidence for who God is, and evidence for, well, I guess apologetics falls into two realms. It's first of all, apologia or apologetics is this notion of the defense, a defense for this hope that we have. And this just came to my mind, and maybe this isn't the case, but when I apologize to somebody, lots of times it's because I'm defending myself. Not necessarily defending that I was right, but defending my relationship with that person. So I want to say, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I did you wrong. And by saying that, oftentimes the person will say, I forgive you. And so apology is, I used to not think of apologetics as an apology, but it is a little bit of an apology for our faith. It's a defense, not an apology for wrongs we've done, although that can certainly be a part of it. It's a defense for the reasons for the faith. Number one, the reason that the faith is, and number two, the reason is who the faith is about. So, and I think that lots of times in our hearts and minds, if we're agnostic or atheist, maybe there may be a reason for that. And I think let's just keep this simple and keep it at two reasons for this notion that. Let me just think for 1 second. Okay, so there's two reasons, and one would be what the scriptures actually describe as the condition of the human heart, that within us we have frailty, weakness, and a tendency to become corrupt. And so we fall away from the standard of goodness of the one who made this world. So there's a moral law that we fall short of. So that's the key part. It talks about it in Romans chapter 1, which I brought up in one of my last previous videos, that we know through our human instinct and through our spiritual awareness of life that there is a creator, a God. And we also know by the visible, beautiful world, we have this instinct that there's a God. And but then we know that this God exists, but we also have an awareness to some degree of His standards, but we suppress this awareness because we want to continue to do the things that we want to do. And oftentimes this is, these things are actions that are in direct defiance of the God who created us. So we know there's a moral law, and we also know that we transgress the moral law. And so right there is, I think, the key where Christianity begins, because just knowing that there's a moral law and just knowing that there is a mind behind the universe, so to speak, is not necessarily enough to get to the point that Christians are making about who God is, and why Christianity is the correct religion, the correct faith. And so the second thing that people have is maybe something tied to the Christian faith that is from somebody in their past, or from a church, or from a teaching, or even from a caricature or a misunderstanding of what Christians are. And so I think it would be best for people to look at these things impartially, and sometimes to detach this idea that you might have, where somebody who claimed the Christian faith, or maybe they were a Christian, and you feel as though they wronged you, or that they were wrong, or that they have different political beliefs than you, to detach this idea that is the core reason, that's the thing that you're fighting against. Because behind it, there are objective claims and objective things that you need to, I guess every person needs to deal with. And these are the claims of the faith itself. And so, the world and the universe is a very beautiful place. So however it came to be, whether it came to be through chance, or through a mind who governs the universe, governs and creates the universe, these two things can't both exist at once. I mean, the pantheists, you could say, try to combine them and merge them and make them into one thing, but essentially I don't have time to get into it in this video, but it has many contradictions, although it does have some correlations with theism, but there's contradictions. So I think the first step in apologetics is stepping out of atheism or agnosticism. Atheism is saying there is no God. Agnosticism is saying I don't know if there's a God. And theism is saying there is a creator, there is a designer. So stepping from maybe atheism to agnosticism might be a good first step, to acknowledge our own misunderstanding. Perhaps I am misunderstanding this universe. Perhaps it isn't just matter in motion. Perhaps it's not just chance acting on random matter. And stepping from that over into agnosticism, maybe saying, look, I'm not sure. And then stepping from agnosticism over into theism, I think, is not a far cry, because once you take that step of, I guess, humility, from where you're so certain to where you're like, wait, maybe I could be incorrect, and then you look at things like a beautiful river, the sunshine every day, the sun setting, the beautiful sunset, all the animals, your pets who love you, your relationships, your consciousness, all these things that kind of say, wait a minute, maybe the tale I've been told about these things just taking place and occurring randomly through, for lack of a better way to say it, through random mutation acting on natural selection, maybe this isn't necessarily the key that opens the door of reality. Because I like to put it this way: there's three essential contradictions within which the modern materialist mind views reality. Number one is that all being, including the world's being, human being, animal being, life. So being comes from non-being. That would have to be the case if the materialist view was correct. That's the first contradiction, essential contradiction about the reality we live in. Number two would be that everything came from nothing. Right behind me, you can see a lot of things. You can see trees, you can see a deck, you can see me, that matter, time, space, energy, all these things emerged from nothing, which you have to kind of hold that to be a materialist, a strict naturalist in that sense. So that's the second contradiction. And then the third contradiction would be that life came from non-life. So I kind of differentiate between being and life. But life coming from non-life, that's an essential contradiction about the reality that we live in. So if all three of those things together are true, then we came from non-life, our being came from non-being, And this world, this everything that we see, the universe, came from nothing. There was no time, space, matter, or energy. There was the potential for it, and then through that potential alone, it gave rise to the universe. So those are some of the keys. I had to keep this video short at 10 minutes. So in this video, I haven't yet been able to cross over to the next step, which is from from theism into what's next. So maybe I'll get to do another video on that at some point, but I think you know where I'm headed with this, and if you watch my other videos, you'll very much see what I believe and see what Christians believe. Not that I put myself as the standard for what Christians believe, of course, but I spent a lot of time making these videos, and so if you want to learn more about what the way that I interpret scripture and everything, you can look into it. So, but I really care about you guys, and this video is for Christians, non-Christians, anybody who just wants to, I guess, listen to me. Not that you have to, but I appreciate it. Anyways, so grateful for your time and just waiting and watching this video. So if you find it helpful, please feel free to send it over to somebody. Again, we kind of barely even scratched the surface here on the depth and richness of apologetics, and that's just a word that I'm using really for just making a defense of like, hey, like it says in the scriptures, wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. And so there's this kind of, instead of just arguing about theism and making a reasonable, just getting to the conclusions on our own steam, so to speak, there's something more, there's something richer, there's something deeper, there's something more meaningful that essentially describes what you were made for and what the one who made you for that thing. So these are, there's a God who created you with a purpose, and you'll find what that purpose is when you truly seek him, and that's the core. So anyways, I gotta cut it off here. Much love, everybody. Bye.